How are you?
Good.
Good. We'll cut to the chase here. Just with Tobias Reeder, just a thought on the one-year deal. Were you a little surprised, given some of the money that was going for similar type of players and term lengths, that you're able to get him on a deal like that? And maybe explain the opportunity that you sold to him.
Well, he's coming off maybe what can be perceived as a average or below average year. He wasn't qualified. He's a motivated young individual. There's the one-year deal. It's a good fit in general, but if he hits it out of the park, we'll be paying for it for next year. But it gives him a platform, and he's a fast, quick player. He closes on pucks. He kills. He didn't kill much with LA, but he's historically he's a good penalty killer. Looking for some speed up and down the lineup, and we were just in contact with him over the course of the shopping period, and it made sense. We were in on a couple other players, and you have to juggle a few balls at the same time, and we acted on that one. So happy to get him.
Peter, not much cap space, so not much of a chance, as you said earlier this week, to be in on the big guys. Against that backdrop, you did get 3 players today. Could you define for us, the success of your shopping day today?
I thought it was a pretty productive day. We put a lot of time in, as all teams do, in advance to prepare and to kind of see where maybe having the lesser cap space, you got to be a little more direct in your strategy. So you have to prepare in a different way, which I thought we did. I thought we added speed. We added to the PK with him and with Brodziak. We added size with Brodziak and leadership, and face-offs. Fortunate that just walking down here, I guess there's obviously an Edmonton legacy with both of those 2 players, but that didn't really mean anything to me other than the fact that they fit some needs that we had, and they were coming in at a good time for us as far as cap goes, and for them as far as opportunity goes.
Peter, can you just address your right wing in particular? You signed Ratty, Puljujärvi will likely be back. Yamamoto's going to have a chance to make the team, but how do you feel about what you've got on that right side, say in your top 3 lines, and if you're comfortable depending on what you have heading into this season, or if you address some of that today? I don't know if Reeder could potentially...
He can play the right side, Ryan. There's not a star player there, if that's what you're alluding to, or like an established player. But I'm comfortable going in with the mix of forwards that we have. Now that we've kind of shored up our depth, shored up our speed a little bit. It would be ideal, in an ideal world, it'd be good to have a line that has 3 bona fide stars, or for lack of a better word. Sometimes it doesn't work that way. There are teams who've had success with a 2+1 formula over the years. We did it for a few years in Ottawa. There's other teams you guys know the teams. So sometimes you got to make do with what you have, but there's a level of skill there that we've added to today that we feel can complement lines. There's a level of fit, and it may take us a little bit of time to find the level of fit. You saw how we finished off. That doesn't necessarily mean that those are the lines. But we're happy with the upgrade in skill level in general, and happy with the upgrade, as I said, on the speed and the PK in general. So.
You added a depth defenseman, Peter. Unless not including Yamamoto, in theory, you could have forwards right now. Is it possible you could still add maybe a bottom 6 forward that would compete for some ice time, and then possibly a center for your American Hockey League?
Possible we could add another forward. Sure, we were close on a couple of things today, including a trade. So it's possible that could happen, and we could possibly add a center at the kind of in the depth position that would be pegged for up and down between here, and we've talked to a couple of teams, so a couple players in that regard. So that we could still add to those minor pieces. So we continue to pick away at that.
Where do you think you are right now organizationally? Do you think you've done enough that you can be as good as you were 2 years ago?
I think we've improved our team, and we've improved our team. We've improved our goaltending with Koskinen. I think we've improved our team speed. I think we've improved our veteran presence. Maybe not from 2 years ago, but we've improved it. I believe we're headed in the right direction here. I don't know if we're going to be as good as we were 2 years ago. We're going to be better, and to a player, maybe not every single player will be better than last year, but I can assure you that a good number of them will be better due to their age, their pride, and what they've done in the course of their career. So we've improved our penalty kill. Brodziak, we did some analytics on Brodziak. With those PK guys that were over 80 minutes in PK time on ice, I call them stick touches, or sticks in lanes, sticks on pucks in lanes, and block shots. He was ranked 19th amongst the penalty killers in the league. So, and you combine that with his face-off ability and his percentages, historic percentages, we've improved there. So we're heading in the right direction, and that's what we're trying to do.
Peter, you made it clear heading into the draft that you were open for business a little bit with that number 10 pick, potentially targeting a defenseman that could move the dial for you. Where are you at in your search to potentially help out the blue line, and how did getting Bouchard affect the level of need at that position? Are you still talking about potential trade?
That was the other area of improvement, and I'm glad you brought that up. We feel we have a player in Bouchard who will fill that need. It may not be right away, but he's a very heady player. He's got good. You heard me talk about him at the draft. You saw him. He's a very skilled player with a level of compete and a level of size and skating that it's a tremendous fit for us. Now, to rely on him to fill that need right away, we have to rely on the other D picking up the slack and see where Evan fits in. He has to make the team, all that stuff. We have to sign him. He has to make the team. But that's the type of player that we talk about looking for and hard to find in a trade. You have to draft. So we drafted him.
You went into last season relying on some of those same guys. So if Bouchard isn't available this year, isn't ready this year, you comfortable that an Oscar Klefbom give an extra, opportunity power play minutes? Like, you comfortable relying on those guys that you were at the start of last year?
What I can tell you, Ryan, is that as of right now, I'm not searching for a high-end offensive defenseman.
So obviously your cap space is mostly eaten up now. History tells us that there's not a ton of building to be done with your NHL team between now and training camp. The odd trade, but generally speaking, can we look at this team and say that this is, the roster the Oilers go into it next year? And if that's the case, how comfortable are you?
Well, the second part, I think that was Rob's question. So we're improving our team, Mark, and we've improved in those areas I talked about. As a manager, you're never comfortable with your team. To the first part of your question, is this a roster that will be there in the fall? I can't assure you of that. But, we thought we made some good strides today. We thought we drafted well this year. We may have drafted a player that will come into our lineup. So I can give you that snapshot now. It doesn't mean it'll be the same team it is in the fall.
It seems like the plan is to kind of hope that a lot of the players on the team will have either rebound years or breakthrough years. Is that fair to say? And if that's the case, is there a risk in that?
Well, we've added another goalie, Rob. We've added 2 or 3 more players. Maybe 2 make the team. Young players make the team. So there's 5 new players. If you're talking about the core players expecting to rebound, as I said before, like the historical performance of these players should right it. Now, you can't rely solely on them all having dramatically improved years, but there will be an improvement. And you know that you've seen it, we've seen it historically, and it will happen. How much? That's up to us and the coaches to do it. As far as the roster goes right now, we're always looking to improve it, and who knows what's going to happen between now and the start of the season. So, but the moves we've made today, I'm comfortable for the short term. What is that? Next time I could talk to you guys, I guess.
Peter, are you confident that you'll be able to get extensions done for both Nurse and Strome? Are you confident that those are on the way? And
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. No, those are things that we've been picking away at, and we expect them to be done. Good. Thank you.